One morning, as soon as you wake up, your hand reaches for your phone before you even make coffee. You feel your heart rate accelerating and that ache in your stomach as your fingers swipe toward that app on your phone. And no, it's not actually what you think. This excitement isn't for a message from your lover. You're not checking who viewed your last story either. Your mind is on your crypto wallet, and you click to look at it. And in that moment, you see an 8% increase in your portfolio. You feel an electric current through your body. You smile as if you've won. But what exactly have you won? And why has this feeling become almost indistinguishable from what someone sitting in front of a slot machine in Las Vegas feels? Do you think you're investing, or are you buying dopamine? Actually, your brain thinks you're an investor, but the situation is different. The real name for this is gambling. Let me tell you something. One of the greatest discoveries in neuroscience is that your brain cannot fully distinguish between winning and the possibility of winning. Now think about this. When you pull the lever of a slot machine, the dopamine level in your brain peaks before you actually win. It's not the reward itself, but the possibility of getting the reward that intoxicates you. Now, let's turn to crypto. You wake up at 4 a.m. and see that Xcoin has risen 30%, but you don't sell. What's the reason, do you think? Let me tell you right away. Because your brain is whispering to you, what if it increases fivefold? What if it increases fivefold? This works the same way as the brain of a gambling addict at the gambling table saying, one more hand, just one more hand. But what about the traditional investor? They also buy stocks, but their story is different. They read quarterly balance sheet reports, conduct sector analyses, examine the CEO's past performance. They don't even check their portfolio when they wake up in the morning, because they've invested in the outcome. You, however, are completely addicted to the process now. Admit it. I'm going to touch on a critical point. Actually, both are aiming to make money, but one's brain chemistry is stable, while the other's has boarded a bullet train. Did you feel uncomfortable when you heard the word addiction just now? If you did, good, because it means you've understood something. If the voice inside you says, mine isn't addiction, I'm just following the market, calmly direct these questions to yourself and answer them. In the last 10 days, how many times have you opened your crypto app without a real reason? When your portfolio drops 8%, does your mood drop? Even during a Sunday breakfast with your family, do you mentally think, I wonder what's happening right now? Have you felt the need to check your phone enough to break your concentration at work? If you answered yes to at least two of these questions, congratulations. You're showing classic symptoms of dopamine investing. And this doesn't mean you're stupid or weak. On the contrary, it means you have an extremely intelligent, excitement-seeking, and innovative mindset. But your brain isn't evolutionarily designed to cope with this kind of digital simulation. Let me explain it this way. When your hunting ancestors caught that prey, they experienced a dopamine burst. That hunt was their reward. Today, however, even just the possibility of the graph going up covers your brain with dopamine before you even have the full data. So you feel rewarded before receiving the reward. We call this an evolutionary short circuit. Are you crypto investor or dopamine hunter? Now I'm going to show you two types of human profiles. Please find yourself here. Our first profile is the investor. This profile checks their portfolio once a month. They've conducted detailed analysis by researching the technology, team, and use case behind the asset they bought. Even if they earn double the profit in a year, they will not sell their assets because they have a long-term plan and higher profit targets. Even if there's a 25% drop in the market, they don't panic. Looking at charts gives them neither anxiety nor hope. For them, what they see on the chart is purely data. They view their portfolio as a life plan entirely. It's for their retirement, their children, a comfortable life. Our second profile is the dopamine hunter. Checks their portfolio 15 to 20 times a day. At night, they follow crypto gurus on platform X and look at the tweets they post. Seeing green candles on charts drives them crazy. Red candles cause them to feel pressure in their heart. With every new pump news, their urge to take action rises. FOMO, fear of missing out, is their closest friend. This time is different, is the favorite cliche of their internal monologues. When they win, they find peace. When they lose, they say the market was manipulated. Which profile are you? And more importantly, which profile would you like to be, or wouldn't you like to be? Now let's get to the most critical point. The biggest difference between gambling and investing is the illusion of control. Someone sitting at a slot machine knows they can't control the outcome. They simply pull the lever and wait. The chance portion of their action is 100%, but the crypto investor thinks differently. I've done my analysis by reading the charts, and I'm constantly following the news anyway. This has stopped being gambling and is entirely strategic decisions I'm making. Really? Let me tell you the real truth. Short-term crypto movements are 90% dependent on unpredictable external factors. Elon Musk posting a tweet, China imposing a crypto mining ban, an exchange getting hacked, a celebrity launching an NFT collection. None of these can come under your control, neither charts nor research. But your brain creates the illusion of, I understand this market. Have you noticed this? When you win, you attribute it to your skills. When you lose, you blame external factors. This is a cognitive error that psychologists call self-serving attribution bias, and we can say it's one of the cornerstones of dopamine investing. I want to help you understand the situation better by telling you a real story. John is a 27-year-old software development expert. As soon as he heard at the beginning of 2021 that his friends were making money with crypto, he thought it was a missed opportunity and invested 25% of his savings in Bitcoin. Within 2 weeks, he made 40%. He felt like a genius. Then what happened? Do you know? Dopamine tolerance developed. 40% profit was no longer enough. Thinking more risk, more reward, he started buying altcoins. He joined Telegram groups. He started checking charts as soon as he woke up in the morning. Even at work, he secretly looked at his phone during meetings. 5 months later, he lost 75% of his portfolio. But John's real loss was his mental health, sleep pattern, relationships, and most importantly, his ability to see money as a tool rather than a goal. John's story is just one of thousands. You've surely heard similar stories from your circle. So, was John stupid? No. He was intelligent, capable of analytical thinking, but he couldn't manage his dopamine system because no one had taught him this. Why do you think crypto triggers the gambling feeling so easily? There are 3 main reasons for this. The first reason is that you can easily access it constantly. Crypto markets are open 24/7. There's no closing time like a casino. For your brain, this means an unlimited source of dopamine. Traditional stock markets at least close, forcing you to rest. You have to wait for them to open, but crypto never sleeps and doesn't let you sleep. Second reason, extreme volatility. If an asset can go down 10% and up 20% in a day, your brain receives a signal that a nice rise is very close. This is the digital version of the "you almost won" animated message on slot machines. You always feel very close. The third reason is social proof and FOMO effect. While browsing platform X, you notice someone sharing, "I made 8 times." You think, if they did it, I can too. You experience the same feeling at the gambling table when the person next to you wins. Others' winnings are actually your most powerful trigger. Now, a question. When was the last time you opened your portfolio just out of curiosity? This curiosity is actually a search for dopamine. So, what about Warren Buffett? Why isn't he a dopamine investor? Because Buffett thinks result-oriented, not process-oriented. When he buys a stock, he mentally owns that company and approaches it this way. He thinks and analyzes, where will this company be in 10 years? And questions. Daily price movements don't concern him. In fact, in his famous quote, he says, "If you aren't willing to own a stock for 10 years, don't even think about owning it for 10 minutes." The dopamine investor questions the complete opposite. How many X can this coin increase tomorrow? One is a marathon runner, the other sprints. Both are running, but their brain chemistry is completely different. Go ahead and test yourself with the dopamine investment scale. Now rate the items I'm going to give you from 1 to 10. With 1, strongly disagree, and 10, strongly agree. I'm giving you the list. Pause the video and rate them. then we'll continue. Yes, now let's move on to the results. If your total score is above 35, you're showing serious dopamine investing symptoms. Between 20 to 35, you're in the risk zone. Awareness is important. Below 20, you have a healthy investment psychology. Congratulations. There's actually a solution, but there's something called awareness. Now, let me give you the bad news first. There's no way to completely shut down your dopamine system. This is an evolutionarily designed system, but you can manage it. Let me explain item by item how you can manage it. First, limit control routines. Plan yourself to check your portfolio only once a day in the mornings. When you feel the urge to check at other times, know that it's dopamine-driven. Awareness is the first step. Second, direct the why question to yourself. Before every investment decision, what's motivating me in this move? Is it real analysis or a feeling of missing an opportunity? Be honest with yourself. If your answer isn't real analysis, don't take action. I recommend waiting 24 hours. The next day you'll probably say, "What was I doing?" Third, envision your loss scenario in advance. Before making a purchase, think, if I lost this money completely, how would my life be affected? If the answer is my life would come to an end, don't open that position. Warren Buffett has a very important rule. Never risk a loss you can't afford to take back. Fourth, my favorite item, increasing and diversifying your dopamine stores. So, what does this mean? Find things that make your life meaningful outside of crypto. Sports, art, relationships, skills. If your brain gets dopamine only from crypto, addiction becomes inevitable, as you'll understand. But when you get it from different sources, you both free yourself from addiction and focus on long-term thinking. Our fifth item is the importance of making the long-term concrete. Do you know what you'll do with the money you earn? Rather than more money, there should be concrete goals. A house, early retirement, your child's education? If you see the life design behind the money, you'll transition from dopamine hunting to investing on your own anyway. So, who are you? An investor or a dopamine hunter? Were you able to find the answer to this question in this video? This answer will determine not only your portfolio, but also your quality of life, The moment you realize it, your power to change is born. On this channel, I won't give you investment advice, technical analysis, coin information. You'll find these in many places, but no one will teach you how your brain reacts to crypto, how your dopamine deceives you, directs you, and wears you down, and most importantly, how to be honest with yourself. Money is a tool, but without realizing it, you can become its tool. Now, a challenge for you. For 1 week, you'll only look at your portfolio at specific times. Every time you feel the urge to open it, write it down somewhere. At the end of the week, you'll see how many times you wanted to open it unnecessarily. This number is the movement of your dopamine addiction. Try it, and share the results with me in the comments. Because this channel isn't just about transferring information, it's about transformation. And your transformation begins with awareness.